Good. Are you happy? Because obviously you don't get the job done on the night, but on aggregate you get that 5-4 win. You know you're going to the semi-finals. How do you feel about tonight's game in general?
I feel great. Of course, a little bit like nervous in the end, but we make it. We are in the semi-final, and we are really happy.
Ashraf, c'est Thierry. We're going to carry on in English because, yeah. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
I just wanted to ask you something. First and foremost, congratulations, but I wanted to ask you something. How much do you like the possibility when you go forward to be able to go inside all the way and participate in an attack?
I feel really good. The coach give me the freedom to move around. When we have the possession, he said for me like be inside or open, like that we can create the space and create a movement with the team. And I feel really good there, and I can be close to the goal like today and help the team in that position.
I got it. Sorry, didn't know.
Yeah, that's like Hakimi, big meets here. How you doing, man? I've been a fan for a long, long time. But the way you are performing right now is top level. I'm thinking you've got to be in the top 2 right backs in the world now. Is that something that you feel you're doing?
Thank you for your words. I don't think a lot that I let you guys to decide who is the best or who is in the top 2, but I try to do my job. I try to enjoy the people who like football. I'm really happy with that.
No. We need. I mean, okay. We'll do the talking for you.
Who is the top 2?
No problem at all. But we got to ask you. Have you seen the show? Have you seen the clips? You must see the clips. We go viral every single week.
Yeah, but tell me your top 2.
Yeah, it's a good question. I want to
Hakimi, you are spot on. Absolutely brilliant. If he's in the top 2, who's the other one?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Come
go.
on, say it.
You got big stuff. I like Trent.
Oh,
okay.
I like
he's gone for Trent.
Yeah, good player.
Yeah. I mean, Hakimi, I want to ask you about the difference in the team. You look like the best team in maybe Europe at this moment. In the past, you've had maybe the biggest names in world football, but now it feels more like a team. Do you think that gives you a greater opportunity to win the competition this season?
I think we are really confident. I think since 2 years right now, we work a lot, we improve a lot, and we are in the way to become a big team. And we are again in the semi-final, and we want to show everyone that the Paris Saint-Germain is a big team, a big club, and we're gonna fight for all the titles that we can.
Hakimi, you're the best. You're my number 1. Don't worry. You're my number 1.
Very quick question before you go. Who do you expect to play in the semi-finals? Will it be Arsenal or Real Madrid?
I don't know. Both teams, they are really good, and if we want to go and we win the Champions League, we have to win all the big teams, and we are ready for that.
True that. All right, perfect. Thank you so much.
Commiserations. You're watching the pictures, so much emotion. Is it pride? Is it regret? What is it?
No, look, very proud of the boys of what we've done tonight. Obviously the 2 goals at the start killed us, but we showed great belief, great character to get back into the game, and look, we won the second leg, but unfortunately it wasn't enough.
What changed in the second half?
I couldn't tell you, man. I just felt like, we at half time, we had nothing to lose. That's what we said in there. We wanted to go out there and just prove a point. The boys dug deep, we pressed well. I think you could see that. And we had chances, we did. And I think I scored the hardest one, but look, it is what it is, and we move on.
Yeah, when you scored at 3-2, what are you thinking? Half an hour to go.
Yeah, we're gonna get another one. And it looked that way. We was applying a lot of pressure. Obviously, Ian Matson had that chance at the end, which was blocked off the line. So, look, I don't think we could have done anything more.
Did you score the harder one? Because obviously you score that excellent goal to make it 3-2, and then there's another chance, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. One of those ones, I missed the ball. happens, part of football, but yeah, nothing I can do, man.
Yeah, I mean, I know here you feel you've got Emi Martinez as the best keeper in the world, but Donnarumma tonight.
Yeah, made some excellent saves, and look, he's one of the best for a reason.
So what do you take from this as a group? Obviously, I suppose the key lesson, if you like, is let's make sure we get in this competition next year.
100%. I think we showed tonight that we can compete at the highest level, and you know, we want to do it again next season.
Thank you, Asri.
Thank you very much.
Having said that, you know, if you go back out of the tactical thing, man, they made it a game. I couldn't see that coming. I'll be honest with you, and they were very close to go to extra time.
You always talk about patience as well. Sorry, Kate, I feel like I'm maybe on jab here.
I feel the same way.
But you always talk about patience, Jamie, as well. How do you think Aston Villa did that with the patience, with like the tactical setup from the start compared to then the second half?
Well, I think we always talk about going for the game and we talk about being with the ball. But we said before the game as well, your analysis was about, you know, how at times they were having a back five, a back six. They couldn't afford to do that. They had to almost go man for man and be aggressive. Now, I understand what Thierry is saying. He's right. But I also can think where Unai Emery's coming from. And I think if we play teams at home in Europe, sort of for Liverpool at Anfield, and it wouldn't be about like, we're going to get on the ball and play great football and play through them. We'd almost be thinking, we want to win the ball off them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That would be our way of thinking we can score, and it'd be using the crowd. It wouldn't be about like, okay, maybe getting between the lines. And that would come maybe later on as the game slowed down. But certainly,
Into the game.
do you think where he could have said? The only thing I look at is when he brought Watkins on. Do you leave Rashford on rather than still going with the extra midfield
why not?
player?
You should, and Rashford was on fire. He was playing well.
Yeah.
It was nice to see that also from Marcus Rashford.
We're going to take you over to Villa Park for a reaction from over there, because of course we've had Anita there for us all evening. We've been talking about the atmosphere and how important that was for Villa, the belief that they played within that second half. What was it like to be over there, Anita?
Incredible stuff, Kate. Honestly, this is the stuff of football. And he made a big statement. He called PSG the best team in the world. I asked him, did he think they were going to go on and win the competition? And he thought they had a very good chance. Also asked him about one of the other quarterfinals happening tomorrow between Real Madrid and Arsenal. He thought Arsenal could get the job done. But interesting in that he thinks that PSG are so good. He said they're so devastating on the attack and felt that like him and his teammates would really feel it tomorrow.
Interesting. Are you hoping that you might be able to speak to anyone else and bring them to us in the studio, or what's the plan, Anita?
I'll try work my magic, you know. Maybe Big Meat should have come here and given me a hand.
I know.
Maybe you should have spoken to the ground staff. I told you. They were calling for you, Micah.
Sorry, Anita. What was the atmosphere like, Anita? Did you enjoy it?
100%. I'd come back. Like I said, John McGinn said that him and his teammates are full of motivation to get back to this competition next season. As things stand, they're 7th in the Premier League table. So much to play for. It is tight in those positions from 3rd through to 10th. So they have a real chance of getting back to the top European competition for next season.
I'm liking the coat, Anita. I'm liking the coat.
Thank you, Anita. We'll see you in a bit.
Thank you. See you.
Are we getting Dembele?
Oh, ask her. She's gone.
I was trying, but you talk about coats, so I couldn't get it. Well, I just think we have a job to do.
People are always ruining your football talk,
We
aren't
have a job to do.
Okay, we will get her back, don't worry. Hopefully Dembele as well. We're going to go to a very quick break. We'll bring you highlights, action in. Yeah.
He was...
It was good.
He was, listen, it was one of those ones that it looks a great goal, and it still is a very good goal. It just takes a little nick. But again, they get that ball. Don't forget Tielemans in the first half, running at the defence between the lines, getting in behind the midfield. That's where John McGinn does as well there. He's got an awful long way to run as well. We've got to do more in terms of closing him down quicker. Gets a little bit of luck, but it's a brilliant goal, brilliant strike. And then we knew we were going to have a little bit of a game, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I mean, I've trained with John McGinn, played with him at Villa. He is a top player. He just keeps going from strength to strength. But another man I was impressed with was Rashford. We talked about him playing as number 9. He always loved these left channels, doesn't he? And I mean, I thought his work rate tonight was outstanding. And what a save that is from Donnarumma. I mean,
that's young Rashford.
Not many goalkeepers save that. And you're right, Thierry, that is young Rashford. Confidence, freedom, coming inside. And what a hit it was. But this was a massive chance, Thierry.
That's the Rashford we like to see. That's the Rashford of Manchester United. Look at how he goes inside, awareness. But talk to me about the finish of Konsa. The way he placed that ball in the bottom corner is just outstanding.
Just a little bit of bend on it, isn't he?
Yeah, just
go away from the goalkeeper.
There's no way the goalkeeper can save that because he's going back in the middle of his goal from that position. You can't save that. You're going to see it here. It's impossible to save that, and Rashford did ever so well and won the finish from Konsa.
Yeah, and then we saw Aston Villa have 4 decent chances to try and get that goal that would have taken the game to extra time. Just wasn't to be for them tonight. Let's take a look at Tielemans first.
Yeah,
Jamie.
Tielemans was the first one, and you just felt like the goal was coming. As you said, there was a few of them in such a short space of time, and I mean, to be honest, he does everything right there. The only way he can really head that is to try and loop it over the goalkeeper.
That's what he tried to do, but
the size of the goalkeeper is probably the one goalkeeper in Wales football that can probably get that just because of the sheer size of him. Very unlucky.
Save. I mean, Asensio comes on.
What a move by
and
the way.
look at the run, the ball, the timing, and you just think he's going to lift it there. I don't know if he tries to go through the goalkeeper's legs there, Thierry.
He can also lay it off for Rashford, but you need to be extremely cold to see that one.
I just think he could use the bounce of the ball though and just lift it over the yes.
I mean, when you don't score, I mean, it's easy to say. Yeah. Oh, that's the one for me.
Konsa.
Oh,
Jamie, you've been in this situation many times.
How many times I've done that? Does he try and get too much, like throw his head on a team too much?
He tried to rotate way early and doesn't connect with the ball. So, I mean, this one.
Oh, but this one
from Maatsen.
The last kick of the game, the technique is outrageous.
Pacho played well.
Just hits the edge of the ball, gets the spin, but your man Pacho off the line, Jamie. You see better from
that. Is really interesting to see if it would have come back enough, just inside maybe.
What a game of football that was. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Look at that. Look at this stadium. Villa Park. Wow.
Is it a team you would enjoy to see in the Champions League again next season?
100%. I mean, let's put my career aside for the moment. Obviously, it wasn't great there, but I still want to see him do well because of yeah, you're coming to me because I played for Aston Villa. But the fans, when they're at it, yeah, there's some of the
I think it's one of those nights where if you're a fan, you're disappointed, but you've loved it as well. You were going there not really expecting too much, and that's a night that they remember for a long time. You know, hopefully from their point of view, they'll get in the Champions League next season. I think they will, through the league position. But that's a night they couldn't have dreamt of sort of 4 or 5 years ago. So yeah, they'll be disappointed, but there'll be a real buzz around Aston Villa now going forward because they can use that. If that had to finish 2 or 3-0 losing, it was 2-0 at one stage. If that goes 3 or 4, that affects your league form. That affects maybe the Cup semi-final that you've got. They can use the fact that in John McGinn, the captain's eyes, they've beaten the best team in Europe and beaten them well and could have been by more. So they've got to take that going forward now.
From PSG's perspective, that shouldn't have happened, should it? Coming in 3-1, I mean, they kind of lost composure throughout that game. What happened?
Jimmy 2 to 3 to 4-0. Benzema had chances, Makoun had some chances. I don't know what happened to us that night, but we came back in the game 1-1. We made it 1-1 just barely. And then we went home, and then home it was a different ball game. But it's going to happen away from home in Europe. It will happen. You have to dig deep and make sure that you can go through. You're not going to ease your way of lifting that trophy. It's not always the case.
So the way you say that could have affected Aston Villa had it gone badly for Aston Villa and been a wide, aggregate loss for them tonight. Does that affect PSG in any way because they concede 3 goals for the first time this season? Does it shake the confidence that they've been building?
Well, it's happened. I think it was the first time it's happened this season. So I think they've done so well this season. I think they'd put that just down to a hiccup, almost forget it really happened in some ways, and almost give credit to Aston Villa. And as Thierry said, in a cup competition, anyone who wins a cup competition, the best team don't always necessarily win a cup competition because you need a little bit of luck. Now, they've had a little bit of fortune there. You look at the chances that they missed at the end of the game, but me and Thierry and any other teams or players you can think of who've won it, you think of a game there, actually the final.
Yeah.
You think of the chance Shevchenko misses last kick of the game. He's never going to miss that again if he gets that chance. So you'd always have those moments, and that as Thierry's rightly said, that might be theirs.
Just for anyone at home who was wondering.
No, it's just like, look, if they stay unbeaten in the league, it will be something great, but what they're chasing really is the Champions League for a very long time. And, that's not, I don't think that game everyone is going to go, oh, you know what, we saw this or we saw that. It happened. Villa responded. It wasn't enough. And I don't think that PSG will be so upset about it. The manager will. That's a different ball game. The manager will, but the fans will just be happy to finally go again in the semi-final and maybe having a chance to win it.
Well, Thierry's right. The Champions League has long been the holy grail for PSG. They are now one step.
This is an invincible side. They are far from it. Really far from it. They're a very good side. There's no question about it. We've been praising them with their energy. They were energy-less in that second half. They were trailing. John McGinn has gone 40, 50 yards with the ball without anybody getting remotely close to him. But it was, when you consider, if you look, and it seems as if we're almost contradicting ourselves, but midfield players, Ruiz, Kenny said to me before the game he wasn't wildly sure about him, and I think he's right. He's been a fine footballer, but he's not going to change. He's not going to change your lifestyle in many aspects. The other two little, Vitinha, he's a lovely little footballer. He's a flicker. He flicks the ball here and there, and he does these particular things. And the other lad,
I'm glad you got your words right. There's a little flicker in midfield.
Well done. And the other little midfield player, and they're fine. They do have energy. We saw this in past games that they've played, but they were energy less today. And Marquinhos, to me, I think he's the most overrated centre back in European football.
Oh, really?
I do honestly think it. I do not. He's got the big lad alongside him here. I think he is really overrated. He's looking in all the time. When the ball has been whipped in, I'm expecting him, if I'm his manager, I'm expecting him to be dominating in there. Now, he's not really got the size, but I still want him to dominate. He must be a very decent captain in terms of giving language out and stuff like this.
Well, he's led them to 10 league titles, hasn't he?
Pardon?
He's led them to 10 league titles, Marquinhos. Or certainly he's been involved in 10, not all of them as captain.
Well, Paris Saint-Germain, with the respect, they're going to win the league.
Yeah.
Seriously, unless
I think you have to give Aston Villa a huge amount of credit for that in terms of the energy in which they played. PSG won't be used to that in terms of the intensity that Aston Villa threw at them in that period. 20 minutes of the second half, it was like real kind of British style. That's not talking it down from Aston Villa. There was real quality there as well. Don't get me wrong, but it didn't overcomplicate the game. Increase the energy levels. You mentioned John McGinn. It was like the heartbeat of it. He was driving them forward. There's a real kind of physicality menace to how Aston Villa played. I think they found that really rocked PSG. When the tempo dropped a little after that, Villa tried to get a breather in. The intensity dropped down. They managed to get their passing game going again and kind of play their way into the game. But that period for 15, 20 minutes, Villa were absolutely ran all over them. And you're right, they couldn't deal with it.
They couldn't deal with it. But the whole point about this is that they are a very fine side. There's no question about it. They have really good footballers playing, even despite the fact that I'm saying about he's a flicker of the ball. He's actually a fine footballer, and they've had really great moments in the latter stages of this competition. But they're not invincible. That's the whole point. I suppose you could say that about any side at all, but they are not invincible. And when they were really put under a lot of pressure, they were wilting. They were definitely wilting there for a while. They have the capabilities of scoring on the break, and I know that Martinez has made a couple of decent saves, but that's because Villa were pressing forward to try and get that equalising goal.
Okay, well, Shay Given has to lick his wounds here because his dark horse is out. I'm sure you're writing your letter of congratulations to Kenny over that result. We'll take a break now. There's a lot to talk about with this game. An absolutely fascinating second half, really, and Villa had, and that they will rue. You can complete your apology to Donnarumma, whoever shown some of these.
Well, maybe Donnarumma could be one of the reasons they won the Champions League, PSG, because he was inspired tonight. He really was. Again, this is Donnarumma off his line with Rashford. We thought maybe if Rashford lifts that up a bit quicker, but he was so fast off his line, Donnarumma. But this is probably the save of the match. I say prime Rashford cuts inside. The pace behind this one is phenomenal. It's a great angle. This is in slow-mo. The ball's wobbling and moving all over the place. Yes. I think might even be his thumb that gets it over the bar. But I like the celebration, as Gary Breen says. No one's celebrating nothing, but us keepers, we want to celebrate a great save.
Just look at that one for Marquinhos. It's incredible. That's your centre back doing a wee flick to flick it back into play again.
But watch this for a save. I know Martin has totally right about Marquinhos. Like, but Donnarumma again gets them out of trouble. He's a big guy, full stretch, and it's a fantastic. I think that was Torres with the header there. Maybe there was someone behind him, but this is essential. I think he's scored so many goals this season already from this position, Owen. But again, Donnarumma's too good for it, and this is the chance that Gonzo will be. He'll be thinking more about this tonight than the goal he scored. He really will. It's a free header. He's 6 yards out. He sees it all the way. There's no defender challenging him. Martin's mate Marquinhos is nowhere to be seen. He should score the goal from 6 yards out. And this is the last kick of the game. Matson off the line. Kenny's right. Pacho was brilliant again at the back for them. And that's the last touch of the game. Gets a fantastic block on there.
You thought that was dipping in potentially, that strike by Matson?
We looked at it a couple of times. You could tell he got a lovely shape on the ball, cut across the ball. That looks as if it's just hitting the inside of the post to me and probably going into the back of the net. Amazing finish.
A mixed night, I think you'd probably say, for Ezra Konsa in front of goal.